Dark Victory is the brilliant 24th and final episode of the second season of Frasier, directed by the wonderful James Burrows. And as always, there will be spoilers as I discuss various aspects of the episode. And I think today I will be going through it chronologically. Sometimes I do things chronologically, sometimes I will go by subplot, but with this one, everything flows really well. And I feel like it just builds and builds up to this really great final moment. But I will talk about that final moment when we get there. So there will be spoilers from now. It starts off down at KCL. Roz gets a brick of cheese from her family because they're having their reunion in Wisconsin. She isn't able to make it, so they send her some cheese. She's not very happy, so Frasier invites her to Martin's birthday party. There we have the main narrative established. And the rest of the episode is in Frasier's apartment. And in terms of pacing, everything flows really well, even though the entire episode is thereafter in the one environment, in the one set. It doesn't feel stale, it never slows down. They do a really great job of keeping things moving. And one of the main reasons why this works so well, or one of the reasons why they manage to keep things flowing, is because we have characters coming and going. Roz leaves at one point and comes back. Niles leaves at one point and comes back. So things do keep moving forward, and I think they did a really great job of it. It starts off quite dramatically with Martin and Daphne fighting, and I don't like that. I don't want to hear Martin and Daphne fighting, but it does work very well. The dialogue there is fantastic. They're trying to have a nice birthday party, but they're fighting. Niles comes in. He's mad at Frasier because he spoke to Niles' patient. Unknowing to him, Caroline, voiced by Shelley Duvall, phoned KCL in the opening scene, and something Frasier said ultimately led Caroline to leaving Niles and trying something different. And of course, this is a paying patient of Niles's, and Niles is furious, so he's mad. And then Roz comes over, and obviously she's still feeling quite sore about missing her family, so nobody is exactly in the party mood. And we have this brilliant moment. The timing, Niles' response is brilliant, but the timing is perfect. And Martin goes to blow out the candle on his birthday cake, and it's black, pitch black, and there is a blackout. And Niles' comments about Martin's lungs working, I just thought was brilliant. And the screen is pitch black for, I don't know how long exactly. I want to say up to a minute, but it might not have been that long. But they managed to keep it entertaining while they're looking for some lights. And in particular, Niles is quite happy because Daphne keeps bumping into him. And Frasier is very much the glue that holds everything together throughout this episode, which I think was a really solid way of ending this season, of making Frasier the one who brings everybody together, who tries to keep everybody happy, and then something Frasier does at the end as well. I just thought was a great thing to approach for the final episode of season 2. And he suggests they play the I am the dullest I am the dullest person because game. Roz's comment about him needing to choose a game where everybody else has a chance of winning amused me a lot. I'm not doing it justice, obviously. Peri Gilpin's delivery of that line was significantly better, but very, very entertaining. And the game is actually pretty interesting. They have to say, I am the dullest person because I've never done such and such, and they get to have each other's pennies, kind of like Never Have I Ever. And it was interesting, and the things that they said they were pretty fascinating, and I rather enjoyed. Roz gets a chance to open up about the real reason why she never went to the reunion, and this is where Frasier starts to, well, be Frasier. And be the glue that holds everybody together. And she starts to say that because she didn't go because she doesn't really have anything to say to their incessant questions. And Frasier points out to her that 10 years ago, KCL didn't have any women producers. That's a direct quote. And he's encouraging Roz to step away from herself and analyze her achievements from a fresh perspective. And if she thinks about it, she has actually done a lot. She's got a lot to offer. She's a brilliant person. And these are things that Roz doesn't necessarily think about herself. And Frasier's really guiding her there, doing what Frasier does best, of course. And then Daphne opens up about the fact that she's saved more than enough money to move out and get her own place. And Frasier says, and I quote, "You like being part of the family," which I thought was really sweet and really helps to reinforce the fact that she's not just hired help. She's not just live-in support for Martin. She's one of the family. And I thought that was a really moving exchange in the kitchen. We get to spend quite a bit of time in the kitchen as well, which is nice because we don't often get to go in the kitchen that much, and it's a nice little space. In the moment where Daphne said to Martin, "Happy birthday, you old sod," and then Martin's face afterwards, it was really moving, and it's nice that their argument has kind of concluded and we can finish the episode knowing that they've made up. And then it doesn't end there. Frasier has some more advice for various people. He speaks to Martin about the fact that Martin had always said that once his hip was better, he would travel. And Martin has to reveal how he feels about things and that he doesn't feel any better and that he doesn't think he'll ever get any better. And it's not what I want Martin to be feeling or thinking about on his birthday, but again, Frasier was able to talk through those things with him, make him realize that actually, if he wanted to, he could travel, and it was a nice little exchange, both between father and son, and between Martin and Frasier, the psychiatrist. And then he confronts Niles, and he makes Niles realize why he was really annoyed about Caroline leaving him, and it's actually because he had to admit that he just couldn't help Caroline, which is not his fault. Not every psychiatrist or psychologist is going to be the right fit for each patient, and Niles had to admit it. And here we have Frasier offering all this help and support off of his own back for everybody else, and just as they're about to go to a blackout party with somebody else in the building, Frasier finally unleashes everything he's been holding inside of him and telling them exactly how he feels about how he loves them, but it's such an effort to have to constantly give advice and be the one that supports everybody. And I think it's really telling with just how much value Frasier brings to everybody else, and how much he doesn't necessarily feel it's a burden, but it's not exactly the easy life to constantly have to be switched on as a psychiatrist, because that's what people see him as. And I think that that's some pretty good food for thought. And then we have just the most beautiful final moment in the episode that I absolutely loved, where Frasier sits down in the blackout and Eddie jumps up on the sofa and sticks his stomach in the air, and Frasier relents and he tickles his tummy. And it's just adorable, and it's a very strong episode and a really moving way that ties everybody together for the final episode of the second season. And it's an absolute delight. Dark Victory is a brilliant episode and a very, very strong way to end what has been an incredible season. Season 2 is absolutely fantastic. I know we have some great things in store going forward, but I'll talk about those when we get there. But for now, season 2 has been amazing, and Dark Victory is a brilliant episode.